We're going to start with a game I like to call Raise Your Hand. So raise your hand if you've ever watched LazyTown. Oh, cool. A lot of fans out there. Raise your hand if you've never watched LazyTown. Maybe you're familiar with the memes. You haven't really watched the show and you want to learn more. Awesome. Welcome. I hope you learned something today. This is a very educational panel about LazyTown. Raise your hand if you speak Icelandic. Anybody? Do you, a little bit? Okay. Well, that's great. We're gonna ignore if I pronounce anything wrong tonight. Okay. So yeah, LazyTown, more than a meme. Before I tell you about LazyTown, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about me. My name is Skylar Pilot. I'm 26 years old. So I was around for the original airing of LazyTown, and I did enjoy it. I was a little out of the target range because this is a show aimed at preschoolers. It was on the, Nick Jr. Side of things, but I was homesick a lot from school, so I would stay home and watch this show. And I just fell in love with it, and I've loved it ever since. So I do call myself an A+ rank LazyTown fan. I was a little too young for the internet back then, so I wasn't really in the fandom side of things, but, there is actually a pretty robust fandom. And of course, I'm MAGFam for life. This is like my 6th MAGFest, and I come back every year. I love it so much. So it's awesome to be here. This is my first time presenting at MAGFest, so thank you. Let's start with what everyone wants to see. Oh. Sing along if you know it.
Welcome to LazyTown, a place where you wanna stay. You'll meet Robbie with his rotten plan, and Spartacus saving the day. Stephanie is new in town, and soon she and Ziggy are friends. With Pixel, Stingy, and Trixie too, they're gonna have a blast together. Go, 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 get LazyTown. It's the start of a brand new day. Things are upside down here in LazyTown. Adventure's just a moment away.
I gotta say, I love that there are people out there who love this as much as who are getting hype for LazyTown. All right, so I'm going to talk a little bit about LazyTown because as we established, there's a few people in here who aren't really familiar with the show. So as the title sequence that we just saw said, it is a Nick Jr. show, but most people know it through the memes. There's a lot of really great music in the show that has spawned so many catchy recreations of the songs. People really attach to these songs for some reason. A lot of them are in the style of like Eurobeat, Europop. So they are very catchy and very fun to dance to and sing along to. And these are just a few memes that are very popular on the internet and have blown up at different times of, the internet era. But the show itself is about a young girl named Stephanie. She actually, she visits LazyTown to visit her uncle, the mayor of LazyTown. And she's going to stay there. We don't really know how long. They never really say how long she's supposed to be there, but she's going to visit and she's going to stay there for a while. When she first gets to LazyTown, she immediately goes outside with her soccer ball and is ready to find kids to play with. She's going to have a great time. She's very personable. She's going to make friends. But she finds that all the kids are nowhere to be found. There's like a tumbleweed rolling through town. It's very quiet. Nothing's going on. And she finds the kids are actually inside playing video games. What a silly thing to do. We'll talk about that. But, kids, they shouldn't just play video games. They should get outside and have fun and play. So she contacts a superhero who's going to come to town and teach the kids how to have fun outside, how to get active. He says that he is a slightly above average hero, but we call him a superhero. His name is Sporticus. We love Sporticus. And of course, every great hero needs an incredible villain, and there is not a better villain out there than Robbie Rotten. Yeah, he is number one. And he literally lives underneath the town of LazyTown in this like weird factory thing that he's invented. He's kind of the lazy genius trope. He's got all these inventions and all these disguises and things, but all he wants to do is eat cake and sleep in his chair. His chair does look very comfy. So he wants all the kids to stay quiet and not be stomping around up there. So he wants them to be lazy and stay inside. So he's opposing Sportacus and the kids. It was a children's TV show, like I said. It first aired in 2004, 2007, and there was the revival series from 2013 to 2014. So where did this come from? Yeah, it all started with Daddy Maggie. Magnus Scheving, he's this guy here, and I have to say, he is like the most driven individual. I admire and envy his drive in life. He sees a problem, and actually he doesn't even see a problem. He just sees a solution. He just goes for it. The story of how LazyTown started was that Magnus had this friend. His name was Fjolnir, and they decided to make a bet. They were going to challenge each other to master a skill of their choice. So Magnus said to Fjolnir, "I challenge you to master the game of snooker." And Fjolnir did it. In 3 years, he was a master. He won championships at snooker. Fjolnir told Magnus to master aerobic gymnastics. In 3 years, Magnus didn't even know what aerobic gymnastics was. And it is exactly what it sounds like. It's jumping around and doing gymnastics to like a song, like an aerobics routine. So he went from not knowing even what it was called to, you can see here, he was the Icelandic champion in 1992, then the Scandinavian champion in 1993, and then the European champion in both 1994 and 1995. Like, how does one do that? Yeah, I mean, you can see he's got a decent physique. I mean, and he actually was Iceland's Athlete of the Year in 1995. So, what does this have to do with anything? Well, obviously, he became very sporty, and parents started asking him on his radio show, "How do I get my kids, to be more active like you? How do I engage them and get them to live that active lifestyle?" And his philosophy was kind of, it starts with you. It starts in the home. You have to also exemplify this behavior and show them what to do. But he realized there wasn't really anyone on TV or out there representing that for children. There was no really good role model for them. So he said there was Popeye, who ate spinach, which was cool. He got big muscles, but he also smoked and hit people, which wasn't great. It's fun, but it's not great. So he wanted to fill that role. He wanted to be a role model and create something for kids that would encourage them to live a healthier lifestyle. And what I like about him is it's never about scare tactics. It's never about, forcing a message. It's about giving the value to the kids, showing them how they can have fun and just be active just by having fun. So he wrote a book. In 1995, he wrote Afram Latabai. Thing about Magnus is he's from Iceland, born and raised in Iceland. So the whole book is in Icelandic. There are official translations online that you can read, but it is written in Icelandic. And Afram Latabai means go LazyTown, like let's go. The story follows Ithralfrun, that's Sportacus. Ithralfrun basically translates to sports elf. So he is an elf, yeah. And the story follows the town of LazyTown. They're going to have or Latabai, LazyTown. They're going to have a sports festival competition against a rival town. Well, the rival town always wins because LazyTown, they don't know how to do anything. They can't walk a straight line. All of the characters in the book have sorts of vices that hold them back. For example, there's Miss Busybody. She smokes and she's always on the phone spreading rumors and hot gossip. You got Jives, who didn't make it into the later renditions, but he's always got empty pockets, and he's always like, "Hey, you got any change?" They just all have weird things about them. It's not just being lazy, to teach kids about all sorts of different things. But eventually, Sportacus, the sports elf, comes to town and teaches everyone how to be more active, and they win the competition. Yay! So I cannot overstate how popular this book became. It was #1 in the charts for children's literature when it came out. and it was number 5, or it was in the top 5 for overall literature of all of Iceland. Just this book was selling like crazy, so it became very popular. Yeah, wow, like this guy who'd never written a book before just kind of came out of nowhere and knocked it out of the park. So much so that they made a musical adaptation in 1997. This is where LazyTown comes from. It is a very, very bizarre musical. Yeah, you can look at this. It looks weird just from, I'm gonna show some video in a second. It just looks weird. They had like 2D paper cutout sets. I don't know what they were made of, maybe wood, but it was like 2D kind of, just not really painted. The actors for some reason were, I know stage makeup is supposed to be, exaggerated, but the actors had this really weird makeup on. And you can see that's Magnus there as the first iteration of Sportacus that we would ever see performed. And that's the original Stephanie. Her name is Sola Stirda, which means Sola stiff. Her thing, she wasn't actually sporty in the original. She was so stiff that she couldn't move her limbs. So I'm going to show just a little bit of that, if I can, here. Just to show you how weird this is.
Sola styrda heiti ég Glögsk og klunnaleg Takk, Sola styrda Hér kem ég Haltrand eins og spýtur kall minn veg Þig langar svo að verða liður Leika mér á Parísblik Ég get ekki hlaupið með hinum krökkunum Ég gengið upp á grindverkum Því ég lægt í liðamótunum Sjáu þið bara hvað ég styrk Á! Æ! Ah!
Yeah, that's all I'm going to show for right now. You can see it's just very strange. I don't really know how to describe it. What I love about that clip specifically is Magnus showing off his acrobatics. You would obviously find out later that he would do that frequently in the show. He uses a lot of physical activity in the show, working off of the actors, which I think is really neat. And yeah, that's the first iteration of Stephanie. So after that musical blew up. It became super, super popular in Iceland. Everyone wanted to see it. Kids were loving it. They were eating it up. Parents were like, yeah, this is awesome. It's teaching our kids good values. What could be better? And Magnus was like, oh. But if we have time later, I'll come back. Don't worry, I have plenty from this show, and you can watch the full show is online on YouTube, the whole thing. Yeah, the whole thing. That's correct. For a while, it didn't have subtitles, but it does, and it's amazing. So next, Magnus was like, let's write another book. And in this book, it wasn't LazyTown versus a rival town. It was LazyTown versus Glani Gleiper. In Lataba I Vandridam, released in 1997. Glani Gleiper was Robbie Rotten, the original version. He came to town and he was gonna sell his smart schmat, which was, it was like a health food, but it really wasn't. It was terrible. It was in this box and it was bad for you and it was supposed to make everybody lazy. He was gonna take all their money and run like a snake oil salesman. Obviously, this book did so well, just as well as the first one. They did another musical. That's right. What is that outfit? Why is he dressed like a pimp? He is very pink and fabulous. So yeah, this musical. You can see the production value just from this image. The costumes are really, elaborate. The sets, they actually have like moving sets and different locations throughout the show. They have one puppet. There is one puppet he's the narrator of the show. He's kind of up there. He's a bird, and he's there. But it's all human cast otherwise. It's, the kids are humans. Yeah, this show is way better than the first. I have watched this show so many times. It's just really fun. Most of the music, like I said, in LazyTown came from the first one, but this one has the Master of Disguise original song, which is called Vesti Founter. It's like my favorite song ever. And I might play that a little later for us. But yeah, so we have Robbie Rotten born out of this musical, which, like I said, is about Robbie Rotten coming to town, posing as Ricky Ricky, which is like Richie Rich, and he's just there to take everybody's money and run. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Stefan Carl Stephenson. I mean, you guys know I could make a whole panel just about this guy. He is so amazing. He knew no English when he started LazyTown. So obviously the original versions were in Icelandic, but when they translated it over to English, he didn't know any. He learned it for the show. He's an amazing actor, or he was an amazing actor. Sadly, he passed away a few years ago after he lost his battle to cancer. But he lives on in his work. It's just some of the best stuff ever put to screen. I'm saying that so genuinely. I've studied acting, and he will always be our number one. Like he's gonna live on forever in our hearts. So, but yeah, he's an Icelandic actor who played Robbie Rotten throughout the entire series, and yeah, he's number one. That's all I can say about that. He is number one. Yeah. So the musicals. Yeah, this is the little bit of fan service you're getting. This is all you're getting. The musicals were translated onto this thing called VHS tape, and hang on. I see plenty of people around my age or older here, so I know you all know what it is. Yeah, so it came out on VHS, both the musicals, and they also spread like wildfire throughout Iceland. They brought it to home, and people were watching it. And Magnus saw how popular this was. He didn't stop. He was like, forget the books, forget the musicals. Let's make a production, a television show for audiences. Yeah, and the popularity, I think it's something like 98 to 105 languages it was translated into. It was popular all over the world. And you can see here, this is just a little behind the scenes little photo of Magnus sitting on Stefan's lap on his very comfy chair. I want that chair so bad. But so a little bit about the production of LazyTown. This is... That's the appropriate reaction. Yeah, I'm sorry, I have to show you this. Yeah, this is the first version of the puppets that were created for LazyTown. I know it's shocking. I know. I have to show it to you. They tried to bury this. They tried to hide this from us. I'm bringing it to light. I am not letting this pass. So, obviously, when he's looking, he's sitting down. Magnus is sitting down, and he's like, with his team, he's going to create a TV show now. This is a lot different than a musical that tours for a little while. You have to have, children actors to represent the characters, right? It didn't really work out that way because children actors, they can only work for certain hours. They grow up very quickly, and they change. Their voices change. It's hard to actually find very good child actors. To all work together. So they were like, let's go with puppets. Let's do puppetry. And thank goodness they changed this. What, is that what they think a gamer looks like? I mean, it's ninja. All right. Yeah, so they're staring into your soul. I'm gonna move on from that. Obviously, we got these really cute puppets. Yeah, they redesigned most of the cast to look much more friendly. They cut out a lot of the characters from the original show, or the original musicals and the original books, to make it a little more simple. It's pretty much the cast of the kids, Stephanie, Robbie, and Sporticus, and then obviously the mayor and Miss Busybody. That's pretty much the whole cast. But the thing about the production of LazyTown is, when it was being made, and I believe this is still true to this day, it was the most expensive children's show to produce ever. Each episode, does anyone want to guess? It's $1 million each. Every single episode. I heard someone say how I gather that Magnus got a lot of support from the Icelandic government, who heard his idea to encourage the healthy lifestyle, because the obesity rate for children in Iceland was really, really high at the time, and they were looking for a solution. So this was that solution. They gave him production money. But yeah, that's a ridiculous amount of money to spend on a children's TV show that they weren't sure was going to do well. Magnus was like, of course it's going to do well. Didn't you see my books? And my musicals? And my VHS tapes? Yeah. So, and the reason it was so expensive, I mean, they're mixing a lot of different media here. You've got the puppetry, which is a very demanding craft, and they have really advanced puppetry for the show. Is like they have moving eyebrows and moving eyes, and they have these sort of partial live action sets that they built. On top of that, they have these green screens with CGI, and CGI was kind of getting its footing back then, so it was all very, very expensive to produce. But this was all filmed in I can't pronounce. Thank you. The capital of Iceland. That's where their studio was, and of course they brought in a English or an American actress to play Stephanie, but the rest of the cast was largely Icelandic. So speaking of Stephanie, yeah, give some love to Stephanie. This girl works so hard. Yeah, there are actually 3 main different Stephanies. Obviously on the different tours throughout Iceland and different stage shows, there were many more who represented her, but 3 main Stephanies. We have Shelby Young. She was only in the pilot, and it just didn't work out for her to be in the main series, but she is in the pilot, and you can view most of that online. And she actually has a TikTok page where she makes content and talks about her time working on LazyTown, which is really cool. Most people know Juliana Mariello. She's kind of the main Stephanie. Yeah. I'd say she's probably the most popular, and she was through the first series, the first 2 seasons. And she's in most of the memes, so yeah. And then you have Chloe Lang, who came back in the Revival series, and she did a fantastic job as well. Props to these kids, because they had to do not only just acting, they had to do singing and dancing, and not just a little, dance. That was really demanding work, like jumps and flips and kicks and splits and all this really physical activity. So just fantastic job overall. And then I just want to talk about the kids. So of course we've got Ziggy. He's kind of the first one Stephanie really clicks with, the first kid that she really connects with. And his thing is that he loves candy. He wants to eat candy, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's candy, candy, candy. Then we've got Pixel. He's super cool. We all love Pixel. I have a feeling that this MAGFest thing would be like Pixel's dream. He would love to be here, right? Honestly, he needs to be right in that seat right there. Pixel's thing is video games. He loves all kinds of technology. The interesting thing about his journey throughout all of the different material, in the first version, Pixel was this balding white guy, and he was old, and he wore this big glasses set that let him watch television. His thing was television. He couldn't miss TV. He couldn't miss the commercials even. So he was always watching TV. For the second musical, he got kind of cooler, kind of hip. They made him into CD-ROMs, which was really cool. Yeah, and the internet and gaming. He had to have his cool gaming keyboard and mouse. But in this version, he is all kinds of stuff, all the internet. He's got his own web page. He codes games. He plays lots of video games. He has technology that brushes his teeth for him. He's just super cool. Then you got Trixie. Yeah, no love for Trixie. Nobody clapped for her. No. She's the town bully. In the musical even, she goes to jail, literal jail. Yeah, the kids have to bust her out of prison. But she's like a bully. She's the slingshot kid. She's always egging the other kids on. She's very brash. That's how I would describe her. So she's kind of supposed to be the bully character. You're not supposed to emulate her behavior, and she's supposed to learn and grow. And then you got my man Stingy. It's so funny because I feel like if you knew a kid who was like Stingy, you wouldn't be cheering for them. But we love this guy. his thing is obviously he's very greedy. Everything is his. It all belongs to him. As I'm sure you've heard the song, it's mine, 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 mine. It's his. So, and he's so funny. All right. So this is a good question. I want to come back to this. Because I mentioned in the beginning, you know, Sporticus is like, come on, kids, get out, stop playing video games, go outside, have fun. Well, you can't just sit inside. You can't stay up all night and play video games. Who does that? But the thing about Sporticus, he never says that. He never says don't play video games. He never says don't eat candy. He doesn't talk down to the kids. He doesn't talk down to the audience, because obviously we're watching the show too. He says it's fine. Play video games. Enjoy candy, but do it in moderation. Do other things on top of that. You know, remember to be active, to stretch. Sometimes I forget that a lot of the time, but you know, Sporticus does not hate gamers. He loves gamers. He loves that they're having fun in their way. He just also wants them to eat apples sometimes, or sports candy. Also, more evidence that Sporticus doesn't hate gamers. How could he hate gamers? I mean, come on. You're telling me they wouldn't be best of friends?
He eats a lot of chili dogs, I don't know.
Well, Sonic can eat his chili dogs, and Sporticus will have his veggie dog or whatever. You know, they.
Apple dog. Oh my God.
I mean, it could be. in an alternate universe, somebody can write that fic. And then you know how Sporticus lives in that big blimp, and he's got all his sports equipment. He's got basketballs and baseballs and bowling balls and all kinds of stuff. He's got one of these up there. He definitely has one of these up there. Yeah. Yeah, the interesting thing is, I believe a couple years ago, Magnus was talking about, obviously he owns like a company. He was talking about maybe making a foray into the video game world, something that would get kids active and up out of their seat and still playing the games. Nothing has come from that yet, but I'm keeping my eye on it. So, LazyTown video game 2024? I don't know, maybe. So, I'm gonna spend most of the rest of the time with this panel just playing some memes, having fun with it, you know. Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna start out with this one. This one's a classic, and I just want you to listen to the line delivery that Robbie gives in this. So.
Have you ever heard the sound of a rubber ball breaking a window? Would you like to?
I just love it so much. And then, of course, that was taken and applied to all kinds of things. I can't go over all of them, but all kinds of remixes from that.
Have you ever
It's gonna
heard
play
the
one more
sound
time.
of a rubber ball breaking a window? Would you like to?
So, So we've all heard the Mine song. Let's go back, and I want to go back to that original musical that was produced all the way back then in the 90s, and we're going to watch the original Stingy get really out of breath, jumping around and singing about all the things that are his. So. Whoa! That's Trixie. That's Stingy.
Veistu hvað ég á? Viltu ekki fá það að sjá? Ég á þessa fötu og ég á þessa götu og ég á allt sem götun hjá. Ég á allt sem ég á meira en allt sem hér. Aksjón kalla stóra, 8, 10 og 4 og enginn á þá með mér. Ég á þessa bíl, ég á feitan bíl, ég á stóran kött og að lána öðrum þjóðir alveg út í höll. Ég á svart og hvít, ég á fagurt og frítt, kannski föt í blotti, kannski dót í brotti og kaupir pabbi nýtt. Það má ekki vera í strætóskýlinu. Bam, 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 bam. Það má ekki vera í strætóskýlinu. Ég á þetta strætóskýli.
Það á engin sérstakur strætóskýli. Þau eru sameign allra.
Jú, ég á þetta strætóskýli og það má ekki vera í því. Ætlarðu að fara úr strætóskýlinu? Ætlarðu að fara úr strætóskýlinu?
Alls ekki. Baram, bam, baram, bam.
Ætlarðu að fara úr strætóskýlinu? Það má ekki syngja þetta lag.
Nú, af hverju ekki?
Ég á þetta lag.
Nú?
Já. Og hver er þú nú eiginlega?
Ég er íþróttaálfurinn. Og ég hýtt.
Yeah, I mean, props to the actor. He really did convince me that he was like a young child, like a petulant child. He really pulled it off. No. So again, I picked my favorite iteration of the meme. There are so many versions of We Are Number One. It was like 2019, this thing blew up so bad, and every video on YouTube was, you know, We Are Number One, but something, 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 something. I'm gonna pick this one. This is We Are Number One, but it's a Japanese version, but there was no official Japanese translation of LazyTown, so this is fan-made.
お前ら本当の悪党か？
まあ、厳密に言うと、いや。
正義の味方捕まえたことがあるか？例えばスーパーヒーローとか。
ない。
じゃあ変装したこともないな。
ないな。
わかった。しょうがないな。俺様が今からお前らに悪党になる方法を教えてやろう。お前らよく聞け。悪の授業始めるぞ。歴史に名を残そう。最高の悪を目指すなら邪魔なスパイロ捕まえなきゃ。こそこそとついてこい。物音立てずし
俺ら最高。
進めよう。見よう。痛い。俺だぜよ。あいつだ。ああ、進んでいこう。ほら見ろよ。すごいだろう。バナナの皮で転ばせてやる。何をするんだ。最高。はい。
I was hoping that we'd have sing-along. I did not expect this. This is awesome.
お前ら本
But yeah, so you can see that version just keeps me laughing every time. I have this page, it's in conclusion, but we can go back and watch some stuff. I wasn't sure how much time we'd have, so we can go back and watch some more things. But I do want to mention this quote from Magnus. He says, "I have fans of all ages, and I don't think it's weird when older people like LazyTown." There's nothing more comforting than having that out of the word of the creator or something. He doesn't care that it's weird or strange that we like it. We like it because it's good, it's fun, it's engaging, it's different. So we can celebrate that, and I'm glad we're celebrating that tonight. Before I go and play anything else, is there anybody out there who has any questions? Anything that you want to throw at me? Anything? Yes. So it ran originally from 2004 to 2007. That was 2 seasons, technically. And then again from 2013 to 2014, which I believe was another 2 seasons. Yeah. Yes.
Did you know that Sporticus visited the White House and met Michelle Obama?
Yeah, they did a race. Yes, yeah, Michelle Obama, it was a comment about Michelle Obama and how Sporticus had visited the White House, and they did a little race because, of course, Michelle Obama was very big into getting more fitness out there for kids. Yeah. Owl here.
Like your slide said, the first musical, was that like the first Scandinavian musical? Like when they made it?
Yeah, so that was the first iteration of the LazyTown Latabai musical. That was their first. Yeah, it wasn't like the first Icelandic musical ever. No, no, they had theater. They kind of knew what they were doing. Yeah. Yes.
Do you know if there's any like scratch episode or song ideas they might have had?
Oh, that's a good question. As far as I know, I don't think there's any like scrapped episodes ideas that we know about. I mean. I could be wrong. I honestly don't know. Like I said, I haven't perused the fandom that much, so there might be something out there. I know a lot of people make up a lot of stuff. There's a lot of fanon stuff out there. Someone was making some kind of ridiculous like fanon movie that had like Jack Black in it, which I think would be really cool. It's not real, but I wish it was, you know, that kind of thing. But yeah, as far as I know, I don't know about anything like that. Scrapped songs. A lot of the songs from the original musicals didn't make it into the final version, but some of them did. Megabyte became, you know, Pixel's song. Obviously, Stingy's song was there. The ending song was in every episode. That was from original. So yeah. Yes, with the shirt with the wolf on it.
Do you have a favorite episode?
Do I have a favorite episode? Honestly, and this is gonna sound like kind of basic, the one where they bake the cake is my favorite episode. So I have a feeling we're gonna have to play the Bake a Cake song. And not only is that song really, really good, the episode is just really great. It's about them making a cake for Miss Busybody's birthday. That's her gift. And they mess it up royally the first time, and then they do it again. You kind of forget that Stephanie is acting with puppets in that episode. It seems like she's just hanging out with kids and having a good time. So yeah, we'll play that. I have a couple more questions. Yeah, thank you. I saw a hand, yes, with a habit, yes.
Not necessarily a scrap song, but there was another version of Master of Disguise between the original show and the one that they put in the American show.
Oh.
I've only managed to find it once, and it was taken down very quickly, but there were some alternate lyrics. There's also a song that was performed by Stefan Carl called, I'm probably going to mispronounce this, Yes.
Okay.
It's the Christmas song.
Yes.
It sounds like he's singing back and forth with someone, and the fandom's like, oh no, it's Sporticus, we're Mega Chevy, can't sing with the dance.
Yeah. They actually, thank you for bringing that up because I'm gonna comment on that. Basically, the comment was about how there is a scrapped song between Vesti Fanter and the Master of Disguise song that's in the LazyTown show, which I didn't know about. Thank you for letting me know. I'm gonna look that up now. And also a Christmas song. And actually, Stefan Carl was in like a production of The Lion King, and you can hear that on Spotify too. I like listening to him sing Hakuna Matata. It's fun. And then you also mentioned, what was it?
I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah. The Christmas thing. But you said something and I had it, and my memory's terrible.
Magnus couldn't sing for one.
Thank you. Originally, in the pilot, I wanted to mention that Magnus's voice was going to be dubbed. So if you watch the pilot episode, it's not him. He's moving his mouth, but it's some American actor's voice just coming out of it. It's very jarring. Thank you. I wanted to comment on that too. Any other? Yes.
Yeah, I had a theory since I started watching the show when I was like 3 or 4.
Okay.
So I think that factory that Robbie Rotten lived in, there was a billboard nearby.
Yeah.
That had a cow with milk or something.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought that he stole that factory. He didn't build it. He stole it, and it used to be a milk factory.
You know? That. So the comment was about how Robbie Rotten might have stolen a milk factory, which, you know, there might be some weight to that because there are a lot of weird like things hanging around. Yeah, like a lot of tubes and things. Yeah, I could get behind that. That might be true. Then I thought, yes, again.
So, our man's Robbie Rotten.
Yeah.
Since he wasn't a native English speaker, do you know of any, like, I hear a lot of, like, non-English speakers use television to learn English. Do you know of any, like, references he might have used to, like, make his character in English?
I actually don't know. His character is very close. Like Robbie Rotten is very close to Glani Gleiper in a lot of ways. I think he just really hammed it up for television. Stefan did do an AMA on Reddit before he passed about all sorts of different things, and I did get to ask him the question if he had ever, ever sang like the incorrect lyrics when he had to translate it into English, and he was like, no, there's so much pressure on you, there's so many cameras watching you, you just do your hardest and you do not like mess up anything. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know any specific references that he might have used, but that's a great question because he must have used something. His acting is just on point. Yeah. One more, go ahead. Yeah.
What is your favorite LazyTown song not in meme format?
Not in well, they're all kind of mean. Like, so my favorite from the musicals is Vesti Founter. It's Robbie's song. But my favorite LazyTown song is the Wake Up song that Pixel sings. It's a very fun, catchy song. I like to listen to it in the morning when I'm waking up and getting ready for the day. It just kind of pumps me up, and it's all about just waking up. Yeah. So that's my favorite one. Thank you. So we have some time. I will play. If I can just head on over to YouTube here.
Or the pirate song.
That we can do both. We have time. Wait, hang on. Oh, good. That's all I needed. Not even the title of the song.
Pile on the candy, it's such a pretty sight. It makes the food taste dandy, but my tummy hurts all night.
I'll put in some ingredients, but keep the rest for me. I'm not just disobedient, I'm careful, can't you see? It's a piece of cake to bake a pretty cake. If the way is hazy, you gotta do the cooking by the book. You know you can't be lazy, never use a messy recipe. The cake will end up crazy if you do
This
the
is a
cooking
safe
by
for
the
work
book.
panel.
Then you'll have a cake. We gotta have it made. You know that I love cake. Finally, it's time to make a cake.
Making food is just like science, with tools that blend and base. And every fun appliance gives the food a different taste.
It's a piece of cake to bake a pretty cake. If the way is hazy, you gotta do the cooking by the book. You know you can't be lazy, never use a messy recipe. The cake will end up crazy if you do the cooking by the book. Then you'll have a cake. We gotta have it made. You know that I love cake. Finally, it's time to make a cake. We gotta have it made. You know that I love cake. Finally, it's time to make a. You gotta do the cooking by the book. Cake.
And then we'll do the pirate song after this one.
We were in the mailbox
But I need to spread this to everyone I can. Ignore this ad. I don't represent
So you're
this.
ready for
I'm
whatever's
not
next.
selling it.
That's a job for Jiffy.
Oh no! No! I'm so sorry. Okay.
Versti fantur sem ég veit, versti þrjótur sem ég leit, því hann þekktur fyrir bellibröð og fólmennsku og afbrot ægileg. Þorparinn hann glanni glæpur, það inn í ég. En nú ég, ríki, í réttu gerfi brosin í þér, eftir ljúfu fasi líki og get logi hverju sem Hress og léttur vil ég leysa vanda hvers manns, ljúfur kátur vinn ég traust með glans.
Here comes the pimp code.
Hann hugsar aðeins á einn veg, því hann illmenni, hann glanni glæpur, það einmitt ég. Ríki, og vil reyna liðsina þér. Skurkurinn, hann glanni glæpur, það einmitt ég. Ríki, og vil reynast vinur í raun. Jæman eftir mig í taumi, hreint ekki treg. Hér Ríki, hér ég. Og ég, hér ég.
Yeah, so that was
Please rise for the Nintendo fan.
it's late.
Do what you want, cause a pirate is free. You
are a pirate.
You're a fiddle-dee-dee. Being a pirate is a red-to-dee. Do what you want, cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate. You are a pirate. We got us a map to lead us to a hidden box that's all locked up with locks and buried deep away. We'll dig up the box. We know it's full of precious booty. Bust open the locks and then we'll say hooray!
If you love to sail the sea, you are a pirate.
Weigh anchor! Yar, har, fiddle-dee-dee. Being a pirate is horrid to be. Do what you want, cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate. Ar, yar, ahoy in the blast. Sticky-dee, sticky-dee, fast. In the black flag at the end of the mast. You are a pirate. We're sailing away. Adventure waits on every shore. We set sail and explore, and run and jump all day. We float on our boat until it's time to drop the anchor. Then hang up our coats until we sail again.
If you love to sail the sea, you are a pirate.
Hey, what? Land ho! Yar, fiddle-dee-dee. Being a pirate is all right with me. Do what you want, cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate. Yar, har! Wind at your back, lads, wherever you go. Blue sky above and blue ocean below. You are a pirate. You are a pirate.
No, Bluey. Not for this panel. No. Sorry? Mine? You want to do mine? That's a great idea. We're going to do that. So. Oh, of course we'll be back.
Building your business online? Go to Wix.com and get your site up and running.
This mailbox is mine, and this triagonal sign. That blue balloon, the month of June, they're mine, 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 mine. Ziggy's sweets are mine. That birdie's tweets are mine. The city street, both your feet, they're all emphatically mine. It all belongs to me, everything that I see. North, south, east, and west, I caress it, 'cause I possess it. I'm stingy and it's mine. And this instrumental break is also mine. The floor and ceiling are mine. All your feelings are mine. You always knew it, that's all there is to it. It's mine, 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 mine. That's what I said, it's mine. This means...
All right, I think we have enough for two more. Let's do the original We Are Number One. Since I deprived you of the original before, let's do the original.
Are you a real villain?
Well, technically, nah.
Have you ever caught a good guy, like a real superhero?
Nah.
Have you ever tried a disguise?
Nah.
All right. I can see that I will have to teach you how to be villains. Now listen closely. Here's a little lesson in trickery. This is going down in history. If you wanna be a villain number one, you have to chase a superhero on the run. Just follow my moves and sneak around. Be careful not to make a sound. Shh. Don't touch that. Now look at this net that I just found. When I say go, be ready to throw. Go! Throw it at him, not me! Oh, let's try something else. Now watch and learn. Here's the deal. You slip and slide on this banana peel. What are you doing? We are number one.
Hey! All right. Yeah, we're gonna close out with this, guys. Thank you so much for coming to this panel. I am just blown away. Like, oh my gosh, the love that has been outpoured tonight is just amazing. If you enjoyed the panel, please let MAGFest know so I can keep bringing content like this to the next con, or fest. So let's close it out with the closing song for every episode of LazyTown.
Yes.
Hang on a second. This is like not the one. No, this is not it. There we go. Let's try it again.
Bing bang, digga digga down. Funny words I sing when I am dancing, dancing. Bing bang, digga digga down. Silly words that can mean anything. Get on up, it's time to dance, yeah. It's so much fun being up on our feet. So we go up, up, do the jump, move around and clap your hands together. Down, down, turn around, having fun is what it's all about. Have you ever skipped rope?
Thank you again, everybody. Have a great MAGFest. Thank you. Thank you so much.